Well, finally, I have a big enough reason to do another video. And boy, am I excited about this game news. Just about a week ago or something, a new game was announced by THQ Nordic that nowadays owns the game series license that I was pretty sure we will never see another game of that series. And we are talking about fucking Alone in the Dark. Oh hell yeah. Um like I have a very I have a very deep history with the game series, or yeah, deep, whatever. uh, Quite big history with the game series. I have played the original almost back when it was released. Uh, I think, yeah, it wasn't 92. I think I played that in like something like 94 or maybe 93 when I was, well, I remember I was like 11 or 12-year old when I played the original DOS game, uh, Alone in the Dark. And actually, I didn't have any computer myself, but I played it on my cousin's, who I uh, said sadly is no longer with us. Uh, yeah, he died of a cancer, because of a cancer. But yeah, actually, it was my late cousin that I played the original Alone in the Dark uh, back in the day, and I was shit scareless. Of course, I was quite young, and I was pretty chicken shit back in the day. I was not able to, watch horror movies, play horror games. Well, of course, back in the day, the horror games were not that scary, let's say. I would say the first Alone in the Dark was the for me the first real scary horror game. But yeah, I at the same time I was scared shitless, uh, and I was at the same time excited about the game. I really loved the game, but it was very fucking scary to me. But yeah, I love it, and I would say now, thinking about the day that I picked up the original Resident Evil for the PlayStation back in 97, the director's cut. I didn't buy the first version, the initial version of Resident Evil. I picked up the director's cut in 97 for my PlayStation. And I think the reason why I was so interested about the game, just looking at the back cover, some screenshots, I think the biggest reason was Alone in the Dark, that I played a couple of years earlier. Uh, yeah, like Alone in the Dark was the game that I just realized this is the kind of game that I'm really into. Like, yeah, I that was my cup of tea. Or coffee here. Haha. Yeah, really fucking funny. Anyway, um, yeah, like, and then I played the sequel Alone the Dark 2, which was not nearly as good as the first one, and I never didn't complete the sequel. It was just too hard, much harder than the original Alone the Dark. Uh, and then the Alone the Dark 3 came, which was set in the Wild West. That was quite a lot better than, for me, the Alone the Dark 2. That was not as good as the original Alone the Dark, but 3 was definitely better than Alone the Dark 2 for me. Then there was quite a long silence, and then Alone the Dark, The New Nightmare was eventually released in 2001 for the PlayStation and PC, and a little bit later, a couple of months or something, to PlayStation 2, which was utter fucking shit port. So don't ever play, if you are interested about Alone the Dark New Nightmare. Don't fucking play it on PlayStation 2. You might think that, yeah, it's newer generation console, it might be better. No, it's in every way worse than the PlayStation 1 version. So play PlayStation 1 version or the PC version. Don't ever touch the PS2 port. You hear me? Okay. um, and then after that there was even longer silence, and then came out, I think it was released in 2008 or something, um, Alone the Dark, just simply named, was a kind of reboot to the series that had some things done right, but there was so many flaws in the game that overall it wasn't that good. For me, it was a little bit better than average action horror game. But yeah, it had so many flaws that it was very far from the good game actually. But then, excluding the uh, PC only online focused Alone the Dark Illumination or Illuminate. I think it was named Illumination. I never care about that. It was online game, and I heard that it was utter fucking shite. So and that was spin-off game anyway. But yeah, then after the 2008 or something, uh, Alone the Dark, we never heard about the new game coming until now. Yeah, THQ Nordic just announced the second reboot of the series. Like, this is going to be another reboot. It's just simply named like the previous title, Alone in the Dark. Simple as that. And looks like from the announcement trailer, it follows very closely the style, the gameplay, and atmosphere, and the style of Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. So it's over the shoulder, third person action horror shooter. And thank God they didn't ruin it for making it escape and hide and escape kind of gameplay that is so For me, I don't really care about those kind of games, and there are way too many that kind of games nowadays, horror games, and that I just don't care. I think in horror games there should be like combat, actual combat, where you can fight against the monsters, the enemies, not hide from them. That's just not mine. It could be someone's cup of tea, but it's not mine. Uh, yeah, so it looks like it follows very closely the style of Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, which is great news for me. There are combat, and yeah, like I said, from the announcement trailer, it looks very similar to Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. And why not? They both, especially Resident Evil 2 remake, were huge success for Capcom and huge remake successes. Uh, Even I would say Resident Evil 3, even though it got a little bit shit about cutting, why Capcom cut the content. Yeah, of course, it bothered me back when it was new, and it doesn't really bother me now, but I don't want to talk about that now. This is about Alone in the Dark, the new announcement of the new game. We still didn't get any release date or even release window, even release year. Nothing is said at this moment. It could be this year's winter, it could be next year, or even 2024. But it's coming to PlayStation 5, that we know, and Xbox Series S and X, uh, and PC. So it will not come for the last generation consoles, which is good news because that would they would have otherwise needed to do in terms with those last generation consoles, which would mean they would be graphically quite reduced, uh, so that they can run on PS4 and Xbox One consoles also. So it's good that it's only coming to current gen, new gen consoles plus PC. And it will be based uh, on the first Alone in the Dark game, so you can either play as Edward Carnby or Emily Hartwood. That were the two characters, playable characters from the very first Alone in the Dark in '92. So yeah, you play with those two characters from the first game, and it will be set on, I think, the kind of film noir style 1920s. Uh, New Orleans, I think, is the place where it's based, uh, if I remember right, because there's a song in the trailer, where it where they sing New Orleans something. It is a similar song. I did actually know that song, but I just now I can't remember how it goes, the lyrics. But yeah, I think it's based on New Orleans back in 1920s or 30s. Uh, I think it was 20s, but anyway, about 100 years ago from now. Uh, and of course, there will be a heavy influence on the Cthulhu mythology, of course, because it's Alone in the Dark, so there will be a strong Lovecraftian vibes. and I just love Lovecraftian shit. Uh, yeah, so there will be you know unnamed horrors and insanity uh, stuff, and you know the kind of basic Lovecraftian uh, shit we are used to. So yeah, uh, that's it. We don't know much other than the short 1 minute and 30-second announcement trailer and the platforms that it will come to. But other than that, we don't know much else yet. So we will just have to wait for more news on the game. But yeah, I'm definitely. I'm even more excited about this title than Resident Evil 4 remake that comes next year's March. Of course, I'm very excited about that too, but yeah, it's still a remake, and this new Alone in the Dark will be a whole new game. So not always, but in many cases, I'm much more excited about the all new games than remakes. But of course, there are big, you know, there are some, cases like Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes that I was so fucking excited about to play them. But anyway, yeah, this is probably my most anticipated game right now. The new Alone in the Dark that I would have never guessed would see the light of day. Uh, yeah, like it just came out of nowhere, and I'm so glad that they didn't bury the game series once and for all. I really appreciate THQ Nordic, which bought the rights to the game series, I think, in 2018 from Atari. So they clearly saw the potential of continuing this game series, which many fans thought that is now buried, gone forever. But like in game industry, we are just used to, never say some game series is completely dead. Never say that. It could happen any day, like the revival of now the Alone in the Dark series. And also, like being a big Silent Hill fan, I also think that it's only a matter of time when we see a new Silent Hill title. Probably that also will be a reboot of the series. But yeah, I think it's only a matter of time. But anyway, this is it. New Alone in the Dark is confirmed, and I'm fucking excited. Now we just need to get new information about the game, new trailers, even a release window, release year when it's coming. Like I said, it is possible that it might actually come as early as, Christmas time this year. It might be a holiday release, but then again, I would think that they had already said on the end of the announcement trailer that coming holiday season or coming winter 2022, but they didn't say anything about the release, so i'm I'm afraid that it will be next year probably. But we'll see. Only time will tell. But anyway, this is it. New Alone the Dark is reality, and I'm excited. And now I'm off, and see you in the next one. Bye.